Have you ever thought about the quiet work that happens inside us? It's a bit like tending a garden, you know?
Yeah, that hidden effort, nurturing things internally.
Exactly. And then eventually you start to see it reflected in how we live, how we interact with everyone.
Mm-hmm. It really makes you think.
It does. And it reminds me of this idea of spiritual fruit, love, joy, peace,
Patience, kindness, goodness.
faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, all those.
Right. From Galatians.
Yeah. But the interesting thing is how they're often presented, not as these impossible goals we have to strain ourselves to reach.
Like the natural result.
Exactly. The natural yield of a life that's deeply rooted and drawing strength from somewhere,
That's a really nice way to put it. That leads right into the big question, doesn't it?
which is,
Well, how do these qualities actually grow in our lives? I mean, really grow.
is it just us gritting our teeth and trying harder?
Or is there maybe something else going on, a deeper principle at work?
That's exactly where my mind's been. Because it doesn't feel like these qualities are things we can just manufacture.
Right. Like forcing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems more like they emerge organically, almost like a natural result of being connected.
Connected to something bigger than ourselves.
Yes. Think about a healthy tree. It draws life from its source. The soil, the water, the sun.
And the fruit it produces.
It's a sign of that vitality, right?
Yeah.
It shows the tree is healthy and connected.
Okay, I see the parallel. So these inner qualities, love, joy, peace, they reflect our spiritual health, our connection.
That's how it seems. But how does that connection actually make these changes happen? Is it about perspective or?
That's a really key question, and I think it's important to stress this isn't about some frantic race for perfection.
Right, not like ticking boxes on a spiritual to-do list.
Exactly. It's much more about an ongoing process, a journey, really, of inner transformation.
As we kind of cultivate that connection, that link to the source.
To the source of all good things, yeah.
Ugh.
Whatever that means personally for someone, maybe God, maybe core values, maybe community.
As we maintain that connection, our lives just naturally start to show it.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
It begins to reflect that inner change.
Yeah.
The focus shifts from trying to be being connected.
It's fascinating to see this actually play out. I heard this story from Detroit a few years back.
Oh, yeah?
Some local churches got together, started a community garden. The main idea was just, bringing people together.
Which is great in itself.
Totally.
Yeah.
But what happened with the volunteers was really interesting. They talked about finding a deeper patience, waiting for things to grow.
Ah, the garden teaching them patience.
Yeah. And this real sense of unity working together like that. One person even said something like, "We came expecting food, but we left with peace, kindness, and joy."
Wow. So it wasn't just about the vegetables.
Not at all. There was this unexpected spiritual nourishment happening right there in the soil.
That's powerful. How a really practical shared activity.
Grounded in something so tangible.
Right. Became this space for inner growth. Just by serving, by being in tune with those natural rhythms, patience, growth.
It created an environment where these qualities could just blossom.
Seems like it. There's something about that shared experience, that connection to each other, and maybe something bigger too.
And it wasn't just that one instance. There was another example, I think, from South Korea.
Okay.
A youth group decided to try something for a week, a kind of challenge.
What was it?
They committed to responding to any negativity like criticism, frustration, even anger directed at them with calm and gentle words for a whole week.
Wow, that takes serious intention,
Yeah.
especially for teenagers.
Right. A conscious effort to actually live out that gentleness we're talking about.
Well, what happened? Did they notice anything?
They said it made a big difference. They felt more peace, not just inside themselves, but at school, at
I didn't
home.
know. It spread outwards.
Yeah. And they even said it changed how they saw each other, how they related to one another.
So even just focusing intentionally on one of these qualities,
Can create these positive ripples. Yeah.
it really makes you think then about when these qualities show up most clearly. Often it's when things are tough, isn't it?
Absolutely. That love you show when it's genuinely hard to love someone.
Or finding joy when you're going through a really difficult season.
Or that sense of peace that just doesn't make logical sense given the circumstances.
Those moments, they feel like strong signals, don't they?
Signals of what?
Of that deeper work happening inside, that connection to the source we were talking about.
Ah, okay. So it's not about pretending things aren't hard.
No, not at all. It's not forced positivity. It's more like a resilience,
Yeah.
a strength that comes from being rooted in something beyond just our own limited ability.
So if we bring it all together,
Uh-huh.
the core idea seems to be, well, it's not about white-knuckling it, trying harder to be good or patient.
No, the emphasis shifts.
It's more about focusing on staying connected, maintaining and deepening that link to the source where these qualities actually come from.
Exactly. That seems to be the heart of it.
Which then leads you to ask, okay, what does that connection actually look like in my own life?
And that's deeply personal, isn't it? There's no single formula.
Right. For one person, it might be quiet prayer or meditation.
For another, maybe it's acts of service, like those people in the Detroit garden, or being in nature, or meaningful conversations.
It's about finding what genuinely feeds that inner connection for us.
Yes, discerning what truly nourishes our spirit.
Which brings us to maybe a gentle question for you who are listening right now.
A point for reflection.
Yeah, just to consider. Which one of these fruits, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, which one feels like it's maybe being cultivated in you right now?
Which one resonates most in this season of your life?
Right. And then perhaps thinking about one small thing you could do today, just one intentional step to help nurture that growth.
That's a really practical invitation, taking it from just an idea
Just something you can actually engage with.
in your own experience.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive,
Let's maybe hold on to that central thought.
that the development of these beautiful qualities isn't primarily about our strenuous effort.
But more about our connection, our rootedness in the source they flow from. It's a different kind of work. More like alignment, maybe.
That's a good way to put it. Alignment. And perhaps, just maybe, if we pay a little closer attention.
We might start noticing.
Yeah. Noticing the subtle ways these fruits might already be showing up in our lives. Maybe in quiet ways we hadn't really seen before.
Little signs of that inner garden flourishing.
Exactly. Quiet signs of growth, pointing back to the source.